Well, we had a good rain this last night, about 1.5 inches. Filled my old rain barrels up real good. I'd like to talk on a subject, though, that is something that you are going to have to face sooner or later. And the only option out of that is if your parents die, because otherwise you're going to be looking at a nursing home. You'd say, oh, that's a ways down the road, don't have to worry about it. But something I'd like you to keep in the back of your mind, what happened to me, so that it might protect you. My mother at 83 had a heart attack and ended up in the nursing home. They wouldn't take her at this nursing home here in McCook. They said she didn't have enough money. The woman had worked all her life, and she'd saved up $50,000. She also was getting a check from the government for $650 a month. Kind of hard to live on, but she was doing her best with it. Be that as it may, in the nursing home I went, we found an area nursing home in a small town that would take her. So I went to the manager of that nursing home and I said, okay, I'm not playing any games. You can have all of her money. I just want to know that she's going to be safe and you don't have to worry about, when the money runs out. And the nursing home administrator said, no problem, we will never kick her out. And I thought, what a wonderful way to do this. It's set, it's in gold, it's in, a handshake that I believed in, and I don't have to worry about it ever again. Well, a few years later, the money ran out. They called me and said, you need to come down here. Okay. So I went in, and they said, okay, she's run out of money. And I said, yes. And I reminded them that they said they'd never kick her out. And they said, oh, we're not going to kick her out. How are you going to pay for it? I said, I can't begin to pay the kind of money it takes to keep her in here. And I said, ma'am, 3 minimum wage part-time jobs don't begin to, do that. And they said, well, then we'll kick her out. One way or another, she's got to, it's got to be paid for. I said, you have a rich relative. And I said, if I did, they aren't talking to me. And with that in mind, they said, well, then you need to go to the state. I went to the state, and they said, no problem. We'll ship her to Arizona. What, 1,100 miles away? I said, are you crazy? There's nobody down there. We have no relatives down there. I said, and I'd be lucky to get to see her once a year, if that. I said, you just won't put a gun to her head and kill her, if that's what you've got planned. And they said, that's the only option out there. Well, I filed a complaint. And with that, the second hearing was just a sham of the first one, and they denied her access into the nursing home again. And so I lost it, and I said some naughty words, and along with, I told them, I said, is this how you treat your own? And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, she worked for the county, in fact, the exact county that she's in that nursing home now. She worked for that county at the courthouse for 10 years in the welfare department. And then she came down here and worked for the handicap center as the second in command for, I think, 8 years. And so that's 18 years she spent working for the government. And I said, this is how you treat her now? And the head honcho lady said, we didn't know she worked for the government. She passes, she can stay in the nursing home, just like that. And I just, dear God, what, emotions up and down and craziness, to say the least. And I was so mad, but I was afraid of retribution, so I said nothing. And I let it slide, and she got to live out her few years remaining there at the nursing home then. But it was a living hell, and I kid you not, if I had it to do over, or if I advise you, if you're about ready to go, be forced to put a loved one in a nursing home, get a lawyer, cover all your bases, make sure not just words are said, but get it in writing, and so that everything is covered and protected. Because rest assured, it could devastate you, and the last thing you'd want to do is not only put your loved one in a nursing home, but put them in a nursing home 1,100 miles from where you live. And so word to the wise, words of warning to all of you. This is McCook's Mr. Bill. Thanks for listening.